So a couple of things, right? So the first thing I want to point out is that this really is a wild story when you think about it. But when you just stack this up against all of the shit from that year, right? To me, it's just another thing.
It was your last year,
right? Yeah, it was my super senior year. It was my last year. Super senior year because I got 2 degrees. No one hate. So it was just, yeah. So, I mean, when you kind of like mash it up against everything that happened that whole year, it's just another thing, right? But this, like, I tell this story and I tell it very casually, right? Because it's just another part of my senior year, basically. And people literally stop and they're like, what the actual fuck? So to give some just context, it was, as he said, it was a bet for GPA. For the record, he didn't beat me by that much. He probably beat me by like, I think he had like I don't want to say he had like a 4. I don't want to give him that. I want to say he had like above a 3.5, right? It was definitely above a 3.5, probably a little bit higher knowing him. But I came in at like, I think a 3.4, right? So it wasn't like he like blew me out the fucking water.
About a little bit.
Yeah, like I put in the work, but because that was after I had dropped out and got like my shit together and then came back, right? So like I put in the work. I got a decent GPA that year. But yeah, so we make the bet. I very clearly remember what we were doing. We were drinking. They were having a mazel. Well, yeah, mazel. Hold on. Get a little sip in. Yeah, so like we're having one of those random. It was probably one of the only parties that happened on a Tuesday that ended up being real cracking. We climbed up on the roof and we're just sitting there sapping some beers, calling it, and I think that's when we made the bet, right? I was just like, "You're a bitch. Let's fucking do this." Yeah, so I lose, right? And so to be fair, I knew. So he was the only kid there during the Christmas break as well. Right? Because you just didn't want to, I think he didn't want to stay at his dad's place. So we were playing like a shit ton of like Xbox. We were watching Vikings, playing some Civ on the computer, and he like told me his GPA, and I was like, "Oh fuck, you beat me." He's like, "Oh, I got a shit on your bed," and I'm like, "You fucking won't, pussy." Like it's this whole thing. I'm basically like, "You're not gonna fucking do it." And so yeah, so it is true. Like I egged him on for months about this because like like at the end of the day, like I made the bet. Like if you can't make a bet that you can't follow through on, like don't fucking do it. So I'm sitting there basically the whole semester. I'm like you fuck, like you're not gonna fucking do it. Like I'm like, you're a pussy. Like that's like really what it was. And so yeah, so then we go into the final video, and I mean, yeah, he fucking got me. Like
he did it well. He took full advantage of the situation.
I will give. I always speak highly of David.
That's the thing, yeah. It's not like you guys aren't friends.
No, not at all. This is not impacted the relationship whatsoever. Like I will, David is a phenomenal leader. He's phenomenal in the classroom.
Okay, chill out.
I'm saying like he's a very like you ask him to do something, he's a
trustworthy,
right?
And
but this was the one time where I was like, you're being a bitch. Like I'm like, do it, you pussy. Basically, like it was me calling him out on all types of manhood on this. And so, yeah, going to the video. It's a great video. I remember it fairly well. And then, yeah, the special message from your president. I'm like, that looks like my room.
Walk me through what you were thinking.
Well, okay, I mean, the only thing I was thinking, like
did you even think of that anything was going to happen? Like, did you even have?
No.
Did anybody say like, hey, this might you just walk
by
in?
that point in time? Sorry, need some beer. By that point in time, I'd assumed he wasn't doing it. So
you're just giving up.
Well, it's not even that I had given up. I was just kind of like, all right, like,
it's not gonna happen.
Whatever. It was fun. It was fun to fuck around with for a while, but like end of the year, blah blah blah. And yeah, I just remember seeing that. And to be fair, he didn't walk into my room. Sam boosted him through the window through my shower.
Of course.
To get in through the shower window. And yeah, I think there's a lot of things going through my head. I mean, I'm literally watching a dude defecate onto my bed, right? So there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of like, a lot of like, like I'm like, oh my God, like salmonella is about to affect me, right? Like it's all these thoughts going through my head. But the one thing I clearly remember thinking is, all right, this kid's not a bitch. Like, that's probably the one thing I remember, like, very blatantly being, because, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, yes, like, he fucking did it. Like,
the thing is like, he didn't just do it. He got somebody and said, I want, like if I'm like, yo, take a shit in front of the entire chapter and record it, I'd be like, that's kind of weird. But he was not. He just fucking said, Sam, I got to talk to Sam about it too, because he said that sitting there with the camera and just recording someone's shit
is the weirdest thing.
He was just like, what the fuck?
It is such a weird thing when you think about it. But yeah, I mean, I remember clearly at that point in time being like, all right, this kid will like nut up or shut up. Like he knows what he's doing. So, but I mean, there's obviously a lot of emotions going through my head. I was like, oh my God, how the fuck am I going to get a poop defecated fucking blanket like off my bed, right? And I guess for people listening, like, what the fuck did I do? Chapter ends. We drive home. I obviously walk in to be like, is this real? Right? And so I walk in and obviously there's a fucking turd.
It could have been Photoshopped.
Yeah, there's a turd. Like, this legitimately happened. He legitimately pooped on my bed. When you say it, you're just like, what the fuck? Right? Like, so yeah, I walk in, there's a turd, and I'm like, oh my God. And yeah, I remember I like took because I had like on the fitted sheet and then like the regular ones.
That
I like
fitted.
So I took the fitted and like basically made this like little like bag and like tied it at the top and just carried this thing out to the trash can.
You should have put it on his doorstep.
No, I flipped the mattress. Sorry, I'm not made of money. I wasn't gonna go buy a new twin size anytime soon. I think it was a full, not a twin.
Okay, sick.
Sick. And yeah, and then I think Rick ended up giving me extra sheets to use.
You mean Chris?
I mean Gustavo. Yeah, so then I ended up just putting new sheets on the bed. And then yeah, I mean to that and that's really the story. Like the thing you gotta understand is that like I made the bet. So I wasn't going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to go get active revenge on this kid. Like, I made a bet. I put my money where my mouth was, and that was the end goal. But yeah, so to this day, this kid can sit there for the rest of his life. He can sit there and look at me and go, yeah, whatever you say, blah, 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 I took a shit on your bed. And like, I'm not going to never give him that. Like, because he did it. And I'm honestly mad proud of him on some level for doing it. Only because, like, that's when I learned that, like, this kid, this kid ain't no bitch. Right. So, I mean, he's a bitch for what he's doing now, like out at wherever the fuck he is.
Yeah, well,
doing his like, I'm gonna wear a headband. Yeah, David. For the record, I started the fucking headband gang. So fucking salute to God, salute to God. No, I'm looking at the camera right now, like fucking salute to God, and tuck the chain. When you talk about the headband, that's all.
Right. You need to chill out for a second. All right, let's chill out for a second. Let's talk about this.